Hello, everyone. I'm Matthew Allen, and welcome back to What a Thought. I will be forthright with you guys. I don't have many new things to talk about this week. Um, I've been so busy in just doing everything and anything that I have not had the opportunity to listen in to catch newsworthy stuff and have that to be able to talk about. Almost nothing. Almost. I've got I guess I've got to do the tried and true mentioning of movies, because that's just what I do whenever I don't have information, and that happens a lot because sometimes you just get really busy, and I'm sure all of you feel that too. I'm a busy dude. I'm a tired dude. I'm very tired right now. I'm very busy. In fact, this is being recorded on the Saturday before it comes out rather than the Sunday, because my Sunday would just be so packed if I were to try and maneuver this in such a way as to record it when I normally record it. And I was like, I just can't. And I was like, there's no way. So instead, I am here recording it now on this day. I'm going to see if I can. I don't think I can find the clip that led to me writing this down. I know I saw it on, I believe, Snapchat. Because you just see all of the worst things on Snapchat. And I think I've mentioned it before, but if I haven't, I'll just really quickly. Snapchat. It is an app. You use it to talk to your friends. You use it to talk to just whoever, essentially. And you can send messages. You can send videos. And what's the other thing? And then you can send snaps, which is the main big thing. Those can be pictures. Those can be videos. You can set them for a certain amount of time so that they'll disappear. But the big thing is that they disappear. Blah 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 blah. Everyone has Snapchat or knows how Snapchat works. There is a thing on Snapchat, and I believe I think they just call them it's the Discover section. The Discover section of Snapchat, not to be confused with that other section that they added that I don't know the name of. 1 second. Spotlight. Not to be confused with the Spotlight section. We're specifically looking at the Discover section. I do not remember what led to me seeing this video. I think I was just kind of sitting there doing that thing that occurs that I think everyone else does on TikTok, but I don't like TikTok. Where I was just kind of watching videos, and I got to one set, and it was this guy, and it was a prank, I guess clips from a prank channel, and he just farted on people, and it was really disgusting. It's very clearly that he's using some form of speaker and audio. He's not actually farting on these folks, but the idea that someone could and it wasn't in a manner where you could be oh, okay, that might accidentally happen, or it wasn't done in a way where it occurs, then he's oh my god, I'm so sorry, right? Because I think I've mentioned before that there's a person on TikTok, I believe, whose whole shtick is a prank in which he pretends to shit himself. But there's no harm to anyone else. He doesn't pretend to shit on other people. Okay, he doesn't pretend to do it to other folks, make it other people think that someone else has had this occur to him. He has it occur to him, because then he can be the victim of the joke, and that way the only person that could come to harm in the upset would be himself. Thus, he would never come to the harm because the joke is about him. And that's perfectly fine. For the context, for when it comes to humor, usually there is a victim of some sort, there is the joke teller, and then the trifecta that puts it all together is there has to be an audience. All right? If I go and kick a guy in the nuts and there's no one there to see it, I'm just a terrible person. But if you're at your nephew's birthday party and he goes and kicks his dad in the nuts in front of all the guests, it's the funniest thing you've ever seen in your entire life. And it's only funny because there was an audience, there was a witness for the victim. That's comedy, folks. I did learn that in class. That is how I learned all those terms and those ideas. It's just like that. I'm trying to adjust my what's this called? Pop filter. Oops, what was I saying? comedy. So yeah, so like in that situation, that guy, he makes himself the victim because a joke like that could genuinely upset other people if it was done to them. But this guy, he just farts on folks. That's his whole thing. Is he farts on people, and he'll bend over, like he'll purposely like rub up against them and like bend over and like fart. And it'd be one thing if it's like he's in like an aisle, like or in a public place, and like maybe he drops something. Like if there was a full setup, like drops something, bends over to pick it up, then fart noise. Then I'd be like, okay, maybe not my thing, but maybe. But the fact that he's like doing it the way that he does it, very like egregiously, like I think it showed me like 2-3 clips before I like was like, I'm done with this. I was like, I despise that. It one of them, like, he does it to the person, and they start like berating him verbally about it because he's being a little coy asshole is the right way to word that, is what he's being. But there was another one where it's like an older gentleman, and he does it, and that man turns around, and I was like, oh no. And he grabs him. This older man like grabs him, and I don't remember what he says, but it's the equivalent of like watching someone face the consequences of their actions. And I was like, you know what? You brought this upon yourself, dude. I was like, there's no world where you catch me farting on someone for humor, and especially not in such a way as to piss people off, because that's just rude. But like I was like, I don't have the context, and I don't even think if I went to like hunt down this clip, because I kind of want okay, I don't know what I just looked at message wise because I don't know how I would Google that. Just prankster who farts on people. I'm gonna Google it. Prankster who farts. Is this him? Oh, this might be the guy that poops himself. I don't know. I'll have to read comments. No, this isn't the guy. But also that's upsetting because that means that there's way more people out there farting on people as a prank, and I think that that's stupid. I think that is entirely the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Why? Where's the fun in that? There's so many other ways to have fun and like make a joke in some fashion. But to do that is just it's so stupid to me. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I'm also certain that there's probably people that are out there like, no, dude, this is funny and this is why. And to you, that's your thing. You think it is funny? I do not think it is funny. We are allowed to disagree. But it's just so weird. It's so odd. And I only bring it up because like it was written in my notes. It's been so long since seeing that I cannot remember for the life of me what like the full context of the video was, because I'm sure it included the like who this is and all that stuff, so that way I could have gone and been like, let me find this person, and then had it for today. But I didn't do that because it's not worth my time to do that. There's so many things in the world. There's so many people in the world that to take the time out of my day to be like, let me go check on this nonsense would just, it's not worth it. It's just really not worth it. Hold on 1 second. Boom. Doing multiple things at once. It's beautiful. It's fantastic. Did I already mention my headache? I did. It is something. It is really and truly just getting to me. Yeah. That is the only main thing I can really speak on that isn't a film today, which is a little sad. I usually pride myself on having some more topics to talk about, especially after how much enjoyment the return to the Bass Pro Shop was. That was a lot of fun. I can talk about that for a second. We're getting to the thoughts. Who would have guessed? We're getting to the thoughts. But that was a lot of fun. Obviously, I don't know, like, too many different people and different things to be able to, like, just pull a guest every week. But the opportunity to sit with someone else and allow them to contribute to the conversation and hear their opinions was a really good time. It really did allow for me to just kind of sit back and, what's the word I'm looking for? After sit back. It allowed for me to sit back and just sort of be able to listen, and we kind of live in a time where listening is not, we're not capable of it. We kind of tend to just speak and just really, really hope that, like, everyone else will listen. But alas, I'm being shown 20,000 things. There's so much happening. Sometimes I hate having a phone. I was shown a video of a I don't remember what the phone was called. See, this is the beauty of what I thought, though, is when I don't have things, then my brain can just tangent for a second. God, what is it called? Minimalist phone. It was, like, very specific. Oh, okay. That's an image of it. What were you? What were you called so I can talk to the people about you? Is it you? I'm not going to play this video. Not that I can hear it anyways. Show me the phone. Yes, it is. The light phone. Right. Hold on, let me Google that real quick. I saw a video about this phone. Because everyone and their mothers has realized that our dependency on technology and the amount of things we do on it is kind of awful. It's kind of terrible. We do too much and thus lose out on so much. Oh, show me the phone. Yep. What does that say? Designed to be used as little as possible. Yes, it is. It's a minimal phone. It'll never have social media, so you can't have apps. You can't check your email on it. There's no internet browser, no like news, like no access to news, like nothing. You can just call, text, and then there's a couple of other tools that you can use. And it can still be your personal hotspot, which I think is kind of goofy. Yes, tools, not feeds. That's what it says on the website. I've slipped over to the website so I can take a gander at it while we talk about it. And I think it's kind of interesting. It has a very terrible GPS based on the video. It's not quick enough on the draw to give you that information, But okay, the available tools. So the things that aren't call and text that you can also have on there is that there's an alarm, a calculator, directions, a simple music player, and a podcast tool. And then it can hotspot tethered. So like there's no apps. Their music player, I believe you have to download music to it. Like it's not like, oh, let me pop on Spotify. It is, let me download music to this phone. And then you can use it, which I think is hilarious. And the same thing with the podcast, which means it needs way more space in it than I believe it currently has. There are 2 models of the phone optimized for different regions. That's curious. What country will I be using this in? Oh, that's a long list. I forget how far you have to go to find the United States sometimes. You would need the North American version of the light phone. AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, Ting, Mint, US Mobile, and Light. Oh, they have their own. They have their own thing. It is not compatible with a whole lot of other things. Interestingly. Oh, this was just a compatibility checker. That's right. If I click buy the phone, can I look at it? Because I want to know the price. It comes in black or light gray. Those are the only colors. It does require an active and compatible SIM card to operate. It does say that. Like, it doesn't look bad. Like, it's very small. It's very minimalist. I kind of like it. If I hit continue, can I see the price? Oh, $299 unlocked. It's an unlocked 4G LTE cell phone and will require an active and compatible SIM. A free light SIM is included with every phone. You can always sign up for our light service plans at any point in the future using this SIM. They have a screen protective case. That's kind of goofy. Carbon offset. Oh. You can carbon offset it. $3.05 for every 61 kilograms of CO2e. That's interesting. See, that's cool. I don't think I'd ever see anyone else do that. Oh yeah, it's like a $300 phone, which that's not that expensive. And someone else, including myself, might be like, well, that's pretty expensive. And I would in another circumstance. But knowing the price of current phones, like, let's see, here. For those that want to follow along at home, I'm going to Samsung to look at their phones real quick, right? So I went to Samsung.com. I'm struggling to find the word phones. So let's see smartphones, right? I go to smartphones. And what's the newest one? It's the Galaxy, right? S23. Galaxy S23. If all of the things that have just popped up on the screen will be willing to go away. The phone itself, this is the S23 Ultra, is $449.99. And then the price changes depending on the storage amount. So that is the price for 256 gigabytes. For those that aren't aware, or however, space and the necessary amount of it that people kind of like need nowadays has just been getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We've been needing more and more space on phones. And so like the three options here are 256, 512, and then 1 terabyte, right? So two gigabyte sets and then a terabyte. That terabyte set is $869.99. That is insane. That's crazy. No one needs a phone for that much, man. And that's not even accounting for shipping. What? Whoa. Fun fact. Because it's showing me, right? The price of this phone, if it wasn't on sale, because I think it's on sale. Pricing after instant trade-in credit. Oh, that's what it's doing. It's showing me the pricing after instant trade-in credit. If you traded in something, it would be $499.99. The actual price of the base version of this phone is over $1,000. Holy heck. So if I pop it into that terabyte one, that is $1,600. That's insane. Oh my god. For a phone, guys. Phone. There are televisions that are that price. There are desktops at that price. It is a phone. And that's just Samsung. We got to go to the king of overpriced real quick because I don't like them. And that is Apple. Hi, I have a Samsung, in case you didn't know. And now I'm telling you, just like the meme, just like everyone does when they're like, oh, that guy's got a Samsung. It's like, yes, we do. So, what do we call this? iPhone. What is this new one? 14 Pro? I've never looked at any of these sites before now. I need you to know. I've never switched from Android to iPhone. That's so funny. That is so funny that's just there. Why can't I scroll through this like this? It's kind of gross. Just show me the buy button so I can see the pricing. from $999. Oh my god, that's the base pricing for just the 14 Pro, and that's before you do like any form of like increases in storage. It's $1,400, no, $1,500 for a terabyte of storage on the phone. Jesus. And look, if I do what is it, the Pro that people get, that one is $1,600 for a terabyte. And it's just the phone and a cord. It's a USB-C to lightning cable. It doesn't even have a brick. It doesn't have the brick. That's insane. And people pay these prices. I've seen people do it. My phone was probably expensive. My phone was a birthday gift that I got. How old do I turn this year? 22. 4 years ago. 4 years ago, once my birthday rolls back around this year. That's just so, like, that those are the moments when I look at the $300 for like the light phone and I go, yeah, that's not that bad. I'm like, that feels like nothing in comparison. It's just ridiculous, because I know how people are when it comes to phones. Like, they're like, oh, I've got to have the newest Apple, I've got to have the newest Samsung. I get it, but no, you don't. No one does. We really don't. What is this S23 Plus? Is that a different thing that's even more expensive? Oh no, why is that so much cheaper? What is your actual price if I go down here? $800. For some reason, this one at trade-in, it drops to $100, and that's probably the best price I've ever seen for some of this nonsense. But oh my lord, it's insane. So yeah, the light phone, obviously lots of people use apps. You've seen my existence. If you're watching my content, you know I use apps. I use a lot of apps. I use Twitter. I use Instagram. I use TikTok, which I hate. And I will never stop telling you how much I dislike TikTok. I use Twitch. I stream out with Twitch. I'm using YouTube to get this out to people. Eventually, I'll probably have to put it on Spotify, but that costs so much money. Since I'm not like a majorly labeled person. Like, to doing all of these things, like it requires so many apps, so many different things. My good friend of the channel, Kingsley, who does every single thumbnail, including the one you're looking at right now, they use Canva. I had to download that app in order to be able to download those things directly from Canva, because we realized that it looked awful when they downloaded it and sent it to me because it was getting compressed. And it's just like, it's so crazy to just kind of take it all in, really look at like the amount of things that we use, and I would like to say I do differentiate between like desktop apps and like computer apps, because desktop apps, you've got to go to the desktop, you have to, like, you had a purpose, like you were going there for a reason. But on a phone, it's really easy to get distracted. It is truly the easiest thing to do. You go, maybe you want to show someone a photo, and while you're looking at the photos, you say, oh, I want to post that to Instagram, and then you're looking on Instagram, and you're like, I don't really like looking at the reels, so I'm going to go to TikTok, and you end up on TikTok. And then if you're like me, you end up on things like Reddit and iFunny, and then you're just there, and then all of a sudden, it's time for bed. Oops, you're still on your phone, still using the apps, and now it's 2 a.m. I won't tell you how often that happens, but it sure does happen a lot. And it's just like, oh my lord. Even the phone I'm currently using, renewed at AT&T. So not a new version of the phone, but someone like, I guess, traded it in, and they like refurbished it, is over $500. And I bet you if I click it, it's going to do that same thing. Oh no, they don't even have it for sale. That's kind of funny. They showed me a link that then I couldn't follow. And it's just like, lordy. There's so many things we don't need. Like, I I have a phone. It can take pictures. I have a camera. I have a DSLR that I bought. Like, I saved up my money and I bought it when I had my first job. So that way I could go take photos. I used it for theater photos. I used it to help people take headshots. Like, I did a lot with that camera. And now I barely do anything. I was gifted a GoPro. That thing does... I've looked at it and noticed like 4 separate times that, oh, I can go and make a, what do you call it? What is that called? The one where you let it sit out for a while. I'm blanking really hard right now on that one. I'll remember what it is. And I haven't done it. I really want to. Like, it's not like I don't want to. I do. I really do. I just haven't. And it's just like, because I keep just coming back to my phone and I'm like getting distracted. And it happens so many times. And it's so goofy. Taking a gander because I looked up a list of like minimalist phones. That's how I found the one I was looking for again. And like, it makes sense that there's so many people out there trying to make like minimalist phones and stuff. But yeah, it's just so sad sometimes. It's like technology has really gotten a hold over us as people, in a lot of facets, especially children. I think it's very odd as someone who's got like nephews who are young. I feel so weird whenever I see them like using tech. shout out to my older sister and her husband if they hear this. But I do feel odd whenever I see my nephews like using tech in a manner that I don't think I would have been able to figure out how to use when I was a kid. Like, obviously I've grown up, I'm an adult, I'm a gamer. I do a lot of stuff using technology because I do filmmaking. Like, it just sort of like it fell into the groove of what I had to do. But like, one of my nephews is 3, 4. The other one I think is like 8 or 8 turning 9, whatever age is. I don't keep track. I'm real bad about that. But I believe both of them could, if like put it in their hands, they would be able to turn on and play a game on a Switch. I think they'd both be able to do it. If I handed them a phone, they would probably be able to go to the phone icon and like call their mother. Although they probably wouldn't know her name in my phone because that is my sister, so she isn't listed as like mommy or something. But like the ability to use tech, like it's just been like the age for it has just been just going down and like decreasing. And I feel like it's really weird because now we've created a bunch of kids that know how to do things really soon, but they're now like really enamored and embraced into this world of technology. You know? So that's why I think it's interesting when you see things like the light phone. And I think that was the beauty, if you went back in the day and played on a DS. Like, that. My sister had a PS2. She played games on it. She let me play Burnout sometimes. But my first thing that I played on, like on my own, was a DS. I played Pokemon, that had restrictions. But I also knew, like, because I was given the limitations, I was like, oh, okay, I can play this here, but I can't play it here. I can take it with me here, but I can't take it with me there. Blah, 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 blah. My mom doesn't want me to play it when I'm doing this or something. She wants me to do this before I can play it. And even on my own, there were moments where I was like, I shouldn't play this right now. I'm going to leave it be, Back in that time when I didn't have anything. And my first phone was a Nokia. I had a little Nokia brick, the type where you can play Snake on it. And then my next phone was a flip phone. And I loved that flip phone. And I would have never given it up if it hadn't stopped working. It hit a point where I couldn't make text. I was like, that's disappointing, man. That's real disappointing. And it was just like, all right. And I got my first smartphone. It was a hand-me-down. I was able to download apps. I was able to use it like that. Like, I used to have a tablet that I used like for apps and stuff since I didn't have a phone that could do it. And that was very good for me because I was young and that was limiting. You get a tablet and your kid going to school, you can't bring that with you. If you got a phone that can't have apps, then it probably doesn't have a hotspot. You can't connect it to anything. This was before all like technology was in schools everywhere. So I couldn't just like bring that with me. I didn't have access to anything on it, so I would stay home. I would just be a kid. I'd interact with people. If I looked at my phone, it's because my mom was calling me. And now I'll be walking around, I'll be interacting with people, and I will sometimes pull out my phone and just be looking at stuff while interacting with folk. And that's real messed up. Like, I shouldn't be doing that. And I know there's plenty of people out there that shouldn't be doing it either. We have a rise of people that like get into accidents because they're distracted. The amount of signs that I see nowadays that are like, so-and-so is a hands-free state. Like, I think Georgia is. I think every state that I drive through except Florida is a hands-free state. Because they know the danger of someone who could be on the road, and they get distracted because they look at their phone. And it's a real danger. It really is. And it's very interesting to be able to like see this transition and like be a part of this transition, because it's kind of interesting to know that like my half of this generation looks at that like technology in the hands of younger people, and we balk at it. We're like, this shouldn't be happening. But we kind of pushed for it when we were young. Like, we did it. And so like we're facing our own sins. But anywho, I didn't actually think I was going to be able to talk about all of that stuff in here. The price of phones is ridiculous. This is why I always get a case before I bring my phone out whenever I would get a new one, which has only happened once, twice. My first phone was a hand-me-down. My second phone was a hand-me-down, so they didn't last long. And then my third phone was a brand new phone. So it has been lasting me significantly longer. Although now it's trying to be coy with me. It spent a week telling me it couldn't read a certain like thing that it was 100% able to read. But anywho, thank you guys so much for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, just leave a like down below. Check out everything else. There's a Linktree link in the description that if you follow, it takes you to the other YouTube channel I've got, as well as Twitch, along with, sadly, my social medias. I do still have to plug them. I know, it's ironic. I just went on a whole tangent about the dangers of tech and how much time we spend on apps, and then I have to go tell you to go follow me on those other apps that you spend all your time on. And it's the dual-sided coin. I wish I didn't have to. In fact, I'm almost 100% certain that if I can get large enough, a large enough audience and enough people that are watching and like just on YouTube, that I'm gonna probably stop using all those other things. I might use maybe Twitter, but I wouldn't keep using Instagram, and I wouldn't keep using TikTok. I despise TikTok, but I despise Instagram too, and Twitter. I despise them all, but I know, because I'm a smart person, how much I need to use those things, because people use those things. It reaches an audience that I couldn't without. So I thank you guys again. Keep tuning in for all the stuff that I do every single week. It's real nice to be back and forth between What a Book and What a Thought again, because they both are two very different outlets that I think create some interesting things. I've been Matthew Allen, and I'll see all of you next week.